So we chose the 60s as the era that we wanted to adapt Hamlet into. We felt that by choosing the 60s, it was able to highlight the gender roles shown in Hamlet as well as the social norms. We chose Act 1, Scenes 2 and 4. We felt that by choosing these two scenes, it helped set up Claudius's motives in Scene 2, and we felt that we needed to add Scene 4 to bring in Hamlet's motives. It shows that Hamlet wanted to get revenge. He met with his father's ghost, and this allowed for the overarching theme to be developed of revenge. We also chose Act 2, Scene 2. We chose this scene because Hamlet shows the first signs of getting revenge, and the true formulation of a plot to actually get revenge on Claudius. We then chose Act 3, Scene 3. We chose this scene because it's what gives Laertes the reason to even get revenge by having Polonius be killed. We wanted to do so because we wanted to show that every character in Hamlet has a reason to get revenge. The next scene we chose was Act 4, Scene 4. We chose this scene because we felt that it shows how Hamlet compares himself to others and compares how they're able to get revenge without any reason to get revenge, and he can't get revenge even though he has all the reasons. The next scene we chose, and the final scene we chose, was Act 5, Scene 2. We chose this scene because it shows that revenge is never good. Everyone died in the end, and even though Hamlet technically did get revenge because he killed Claudius, it didn't end well for him because he died and everyone else died, and Fortinbras ended up taking over the land that was disputed about back in Scene 2 of Act 1, which shows that everything came full circle in the end. By choosing the 60s, we had to make some changes to how we produced the whole thing. As you will see in our video, we changed everyone to being farmers instead of royalty because we felt that it allowed for Claudius's motives to be highlighted. As you will see, Claudius is the only one that's ever fully dressed up. Everyone else is dressed in farmer's 60s attire, whereas he's dressed in 60s formal attire, which shows that his motives were so much different than everyone else's there, and that he had a reason to kill Hamlet Sr. and that he wanted the land. Throughout the play, we decided to omit a few more of the minor characters from the story. Some of these characters include Ophelia and Horatio. We decided to omit these characters because we felt that they didn't really have a big impact on the storyline that we were trying to portray. And the storyline we were trying to portray was that of revenge, and we felt that Ophelia and Horatio and some other characters such as Osric and other characters along those lines didn't really fit into that specific storyline. As you will see in our whole production, we chose to highlight certain scenes and certain parts of scenes to really bring together the idea of the overarching theme of revenge. We chose the specific scenes because we felt that they were the best ones that lined up the idea of revenge and showing that a lot of Hamlet and the story of Hamlet has to do with getting revenge and what revenge does in the end, and we really hope that you will be able to see that through our video.
Hello, my fellow people. Although the wounds of our fallen brother, Sir Hamlet, are still fresh, I've decided that it is best to mourn while also moving on. It is because of this that I've decided to wed this groovy woman standing next to me, Miss Gertrude. Through this unity, we will bring this farm back to the rightful glory that it once was. Alright, right on. So now for the scoop on Fortinbras. Young Fortinbras has underestimated us, and he thinks that because Sir Hamlet died, he can take over this land. And that is not going to happen. We will keep this land. Thank you.
That's my... Stop! Where are we going? I'm not going any further.
Listen to me.
Okay, I will.
I'm going to the purgatory suit. Just listen.
Speak on.
You must be ready to get revenge.
What?
I am the ghost of your father.
What?
You must take revenge for my murder.
Holy Moses!
The one who owns the land now is the one you must avenge me for.
I knew it. I'll do whatever it takes.
I'm glad to hear.
So for Act 1, Scenes 2 and 4, these were the scenes that kind of set the theme of revenge, and they gave us a little bit of knowledge of what was going on. And to correspond with the 60s era that we chose, we changed the way we spoke and the way we dressed. And instead of Claudius giving thanks to his country in his other countries, we changed it to him giving thanks to his family members and his fellow farmers and friends. This is when Claudius gives thanks to his countries for supporting him in announcing his marriage to Gertrude, and later on Hamlet encounters the ghost of his father and learns that he was murdered. So that encountered the theme of revenge. Our research had to do with how the farmers dressed and how they talked, and as well as the gender roles and positions. So we kind of showed the gender roles by Gertrude standing next to Claudius and not really being able to talk and voice her opinion. She was just kind of there as a item, like that was there. That was the social norms of the 60s, so that's how we showed that there.
How is it that a hillbilly actor can act out such pain and anger when he isn't even feeling said feelings? That dude acts for squat, yet I can't. I have every reason to ream and shuck my uncle. Hell, my own father was murdered, but here I am, being a big sissy, doing jack squat when I was asked by my own father to get revenge. If someone were to give it to me straight and tell me I'm a big goon, I'd agree. I've been chilling out for way too long. No more putzing around. I am going to show my uncle a play like that of my father's murder. This will prove to me that he is guilty. It has to. If he starts freaking out, then I will know for sure that the ghost I saw ain't no liar.
Act 2, Scene 2. This help shows that the theme of revenge is extremely prevalent in Hamlet because the scene shows that Hamlet's actions are primarily driven by revenge. This is a scene when Hamlet points out that the actor can act upon emotions he truly does not have, and Hamlet, who truly has the emotions, cannot act upon them. He then decides that he's going to drop Claudius, and this signifies the first time that Hamlet has a real plan to take revenge. We changed the actor to a real actor in the 60s, John Wayne. And instead of watching a play, Hamlet is watching a movie. Our research showed us that it is much common for a young adult to be influenced by a movie actor rather than a play actor. John Wayne happens to be one of those influential people in that time.
Hamlet's been causing too much trouble.
No, everything is fine. It'll
Mom,
be okay.
I'm coming.
Just go hide.
What's the scoop, Mom?
You disrespected your father.
You disrespected mine.
Have you forgotten who I am?
Chill out. Take a seat.
Help! Help!
A snitch.
Boing!
Dad, what are you doing here? Are you here to yell at me again?
No, look at your mother. She's not the one you're supposed to be getting revenge on.
I know, Dad.
You're taking way too long. You're supposed to get revenge on Claudius.
I know, Dad, I will.
In this scene, Hamlet is reunited again with the ghost of his father. This enhances the theme because the ghost is yet again telling Hamlet to seek revenge for his murder. Hamlet is then so driven by that need to seek revenge that he starts to dispute with his mother and he accidentally kills Polonius. Some of the research that we did to blend the era with the scene that we chose was look up the language that a 60s countryside family would speak with, as well as how women were treated at that time, which is shown with the aggressiveness that Hamlet had towards his mother. We also changed the setting of the fight. Instead of it being in a room in a castle, it is now in a plain countryside with no one around except for Polonius, who is hiding behind a tree. He is then killed with a shovel, because Hamlet was hoping that it was Claudius, and he was hoping that he finally sought his revenge. This is also a foil with Laertes and Hamlet, because Laertes now has a reason to seek revenge for the murder of his father, similar to how Hamlet is seeking revenge for the murder of his father.
Who are y'all?
Ford Bros workers.
What do y'all think you're doing?
Here to cultivate the McReary's farm.
Who's the man in charge?
Young Ford Bros.
Is the land worth a lot?
It ain't worth squat. The boss just wants it.
So McCreary ain't even gonna call the fuzz?
Heck yeah, he will. He already has.
Oh.
We got it scattered.
These men are gonna steal the land and go against the fuzz for no reason at all. How can their boss stand in the crosshairs simply just to do it, when I can't even get revenge for my father with gobs of reason? From here on out, I'm not thinking of anything but revenge.
In this scene, the workers on Fortinbras's farm bump into Hamlet. As the scene progresses, it becomes increasingly more obvious to Hamlet as to what their intentions are. He soon finds out that they have little to no actual reason for taking over the other farmers' land. This causes him to once again come down on himself because he can't act on his own revenge. He sees that other people can act when they don't even have any motivation, but when he has all the motivation in the world, he cannot make himself do it. He vows from then on to only act on his revenge. This further shows that revenge is a central and major theme in Hamlet, as revenge drives Hamlet's actions as well as his thoughts. We decided to change the scene to that of a farm, and instead of there being an army, it was a union of farmers. Through our research, we were able to change the commentary to make it a more laid-back and relaxed tone, which is more matched with the 60s.
Let's begin.
I got her shoulder!
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Point for Hamlet.
This is for Hamlet, should he need to replenish his strength, and because he got the first jab, in order to make sure his strength is fully replenished, here's a homemade cookie for good luck.
To Hamlet! Good job, honey!
No, Gertrude, shouldn't you be worried about your figure? Oh no, the poison.
Round 2.
I hit her! Mother, are you okay?
Another hit.
Mother, are you okay?
The glass is poisoned. This is all whack.
I know, what happened?
The gloves were poisoned from the beginning. It was all set up.
Holy Moses!
Do you forgive me? Because I forgive you.
I do, thank you.
Everyone's dead. I will finally get the land that I rightfully own, and Hamlet's legacy will live on.
Act 5, Scene 2 has much to do with getting revenge. This is because, in the end, Claudius tries to take out Hamlet, but Hamlet gets his revenge by killing Claudius. This is the scene when Laertes and Claudius plan on taking out Hamlet, but when the plan goes wrong, everyone dies in the end. Then, young Fortinbras comes in and takes over all of the land. This duel between Hamlet and Laertes is a boxing match. Laertes' boxing gloves have poison on them. The glass has a cookie put into it instead of a pearl, because back in the old days, if you were a farmer, it'd be more likely to have a cookie. Boxing was very prominent in the 60s, and that is why we decided to choose to put this adaptation into it.
So, as you saw in our video, we really wanted to highlight the theme of revenge, and we feel that we did so by choosing the specific scenes, as I already mentioned, to really bring the idea of revenge to light. And in the end, as you saw and as we showed, it never ends well. they all spent their time trying to avenge a death or something that was wrong, that they were wronged in, and we adapted that to the 60s by showing that the idea of revenge is timeless, that it's always there, and that it's never going to go away. And that's one of the reasons why Hamlet is so applicable to today, and why we can still read it and understand it and relate to it. The 60s was just a way of showing that in a different era, in a different time. It was a way of showing that it's always there. And you know, through the 60s, we were really able to highlight certain things like Claudius, and that they don't have to be royalty. And in the 60s, it relates specifically because, you know, there was the Vietnam War and a lot of things going on in the 60s, social norms and stuff like that, that parallel to the actual Hamlet and gender roles. And it's shown through Gertrude never really getting to talk, and Claudius always talking over her, and Laertes coming back from war and getting revenge. And it just shows that the time parallels in the 60s to Hamlet, as well as every other day and every other time period that there ever really was. And that's what we wanted to show through our adaptation of Hamlet in the 60s. Thank you.
Mom, are you okay?
You need to hurry up and get it. You better reach in there and get the damn pretty out.
Mother, are you okay?
The glasses.
All the awful things of purgatory, but just know that it is an awful experience.
I don't think I have to talk about purgatory.
Okay,
I mean, wait, how long do these scenes have to be?
cookies. There's not gonna be any milk left.
Every day we lit.
So you're like,
You're like,
Drink.